Hi there, I'm Christine Cheever, and welcome to the All Friends Cabaret. It's the show that connects you. Well, tonight we're going to have a little entrepreneurial spirit here in the Cabaret. We have two individuals that are not only creators of their own businesses, but they also encourage others, and they also help help people along the way to find their own path. So I have Justin Springer here and Susan Flint. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with Justin.
Okay.
You are the owner you created Outside the Box, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about that business.
Well, I was in a position where I felt I needed to create my own opportunities. I was in an industry that I loved, but I didn't feel like I had a purpose of what I was doing, you know? So I took a huge risk, and I started a company with a good friend of mine.
Okay.
And
what is your background? Let's go back a little bit.
Yeah, no problem.
What is your background?
So my background, I'm 35, and I've been involved in music and entertainment and film for the last 15 years or so.
Okay.
I don't talk too much about myself, but I have a pretty good experience, you know.
You've met lots of people and
I have. I've been blessed to be in certain opportunities, and I've worked with many great musicians, probably some of your favorites. I've worked on a lot of great projects, you know, and a lot of people in Boston know me from throwing some cool events. I started a charity event called Boston Unplugged. So what we do is we gather the best bands, a diversity of bands, and we bring them together and we plan a great event for a great cause. That was a great accomplishment that I've been doing for a while. But I've been on tours.
So you had lots of different interests in the entertainment world.
Definitely.
And then realized, okay, hey, let me start this.
You know, in an entertainment business, you know, if you don't have a solid purpose, you can get lost, you know. And I was getting laid off for certain opportunities. A lot of my experience comes from marketing, so that's why I had some success in planning events, because you know, you have to have the marketing, you know, effect to it. But you know, when you get laid off in certain situations, and then you try to, you know, go for maybe a 9-to-5, it's tough, you know.
Right.
So you know, when you have a different set of skills, you know, you gotta utilize it to your craft, you know. And so for me, I felt I needed to take a risk, you know, utilize all my talents and start my own business.
And now Outside the Box focuses on event promotions in different arenas. You kind of cover everything from healthcare sector down to the entertainment business. So.
Yeah, so we've been in business for about a year, so technically we're still a small business. But our goal is really, we service in brand management, which covers, you know, pretty much marketing, public relations, and our goal is really to add value to a particular brand. Now, a particular brand could be a restaurant that's opening and they need maybe some support with how to launch. It could be a clothing line, could be a politician. We recently worked on Mike Ross' political campaign.
Oh, all right.
He ran for the mayor of Boston.
Oh,
and,
all right.
So that was a great experience, and you know, it opened up other doors, you know. So we do have a passion in getting behind. We try not to, we try not to get too much into politicals, but we offer our consulting on how to, you know, package their message, because a lot of times
pull out the best in them,
exactly,
sort of thing,
and put them in the right arenas to reach their demographic, to reach their potential voters. So that was a good experience. So really, with Outside the Box, we try to focus on non-traditional marketing. So given the name Outside the Box,
yes, I like the title.
A lot of our campaigns are surrounded by just a creative strategy that's outside of box, something that's going to catch your attention. And of course, if we're working with a certain brand, we want to tell your story, you know, and through that story, you engage your target demographic. So it's been to be honest with you, it's been an up and down roller coaster starting a business, but I was prepared for that, you know.
Well,
and again,
I'm sure you're learning a lot.
Exactly, you know, and again, you know, it's one of my dreams, you know, and so it's become a reality, and now my goal is to, you know, add more value to not just my personal brand, but my company brand, and so I'm excited, and we have some great So with this business, I worked some great campaigns. You had
TLC, for
TLC.
the arts, yes, on.
That was
yes.
actually my first client, and
yes, and they're based right here in Quincy.
Yes.
And they're working with the youth and here and around the city.
Definitely. So we did their website, and we did a lot of their initial branding, did their logo. So from there, we had a couple other great campaigns, of course, with Mike Ross. But then I felt, I needed to create our own personal opportunities,
right, right.
And that's leading to the Dreambuilders.
The Dreambuilders, which I wanted to open the show with that. What Susan and Justin are working on is the Dreambuilders project, which is a mural dedicated to the legacy of Donna Summer. But before we get to that, I'd like to speak with Susan, who... It was great when I read your resume because you list entrepreneur, you run a nonprofit, you are a hairdresser, but the first thing you listed is that you're a mother. And I like that. What made you do that on your resume? I like that.
Because family to me is everything. It's the reason why I do what I do.
Right.
Family, my children are involved in all my entities. That's how I started. I wanted to make sure I gave them a better life than I had.
Right.
And so that's really, really important. So I started out, one of the reasons why I started, actually I didn't know I was an entrepreneur. I just started out with the passion to just actually I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I started out growing up in the inner city projects.
And you're from Boston.
I'm from Boston.
Yes, okay.
I grew up in Jamaica Plain housing projects. And so I wanted to make a better opportunity for myself. I was one of those at-risk young ladies who society said wouldn't be anything. And so when I found my niche, which was in the hair care industry, I said, oh, I know I loved people. I loved making people feel good.
What was the turning point for you?
The turning point for me is actually when I saw a commercial on television to go to cosmetology school.
Oh, all right.
After high school, I barely slid out of high school, didn't really like it. Couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something great. It's something but what that was, I didn't know.
Right.
And so I saw a commercial, and that would entice you to come to cosmetology school. So I was like, let me try that. And so I enrolled, I graduated, I loved it, and immediately after that, I just started building my clientele just rapidly.
And what brought you into the life coaching? Because you have 5 Ps we can get into. But how did you go from
cosmetology?
Yes.
Okay, so I went from cosmetology. I owned and operated my own full-service hair salon, and from that I wanted it to be different. So I wanted to incorporate community connections. So my staff would go to different community events and do beauty makeovers from head to toe. From there, a lot of at-risk teenagers would come into the salon and just want to talk and share. So that kind of led in. I had no intentions on working with young people. And so from there, I saw that I was an encourager and a motivator to them. And so and I started to incorporate these programs into the school systems to see it works. I just did that as a tool and a resource to draw them in. Because a lot of them were having behavioral problems. So that's how it sort of like went from step to step to step. The arts, the entertainment industry,
right,
all that kind of came to one fruition. And one of my sons grew up and he was going through some challenges in the inner city, just a product of his environment, being in the inner city, just being caught up with gangs and the violence that's going on, even in the school systems. So I had to be the advocate for my own child in the Boston public school systems. So, and then I was able to encourage other mothers to just advocate for their children because they were just saying, I didn't want them to be a statistic saying they're not going to make it. So.
Right. So is it just like a process of you have an idea and then you just little seedling, put it together, grows to the next point?
That's exactly how it started because I didn't know anything about, I never went to school for business, so I just kind of jumped into owning and operating my own salon. I just did it and saw that it worked, and I made money, and I was like, oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Even the program,
I
never went to school for program development. I went to school after I developed my nonprofit.
Wow. And what is your nonprofit?
My
Tell me about that.
nonprofit program is called the RAW program, RAW.
All right.
And it's an all-girls self-esteem empowerment program where we use the beauty, fashion, arts, and entertainment industry to build self-esteem, leadership development, and promote entrepreneurship through the arts. So from my career as a cosmetologist and working with several hair care companies, I was always doing road shows, so I knew the whole production piece, and so that's where I
Right.
thought my career was going, in the whole entertainment.
Yes.
And so we would do fashion shows, hair shows for young people, and just to give them the opportunity to display their talent. So that's how the whole thing evolved.
And have you been able to see one of the young people that have been at risk turn it around like you did?
Oh, I have several stories. There was actually one young lady, a few young ladies, one young lady who started, because we used to do dance competitions, and she said, you know, I want to be a fashion designer. She was 15, 16. My daughter is a dancer, so she was in a dance group. So she started making these little costumes, just, you know, putting it together. And then from there, she always stayed on track and said, I wanted to become a designer. We encouraged her, her family encouraged her, she stayed with the program. She was, she's from Boston, she was on Project Runway.
Oh, great.
And she actually went very far.
What's her name?
Her name is Sanji Williams.
Nice, nice.
I have another young lady who is in Atlanta, Erica Pinkett. She is a well-known model now in Atlanta. We gave her an opportunity of doing one of the fashion shows. So she's doing music videos for big, well-named hip-hop stars. So it's just an encouragement to say, hey, if they could do it, and they come back as alumni and just really encourage young people to say, follow your dreams, because that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, and so what is the some key steps if, you know, someone wants to start their own business? Give me a couple things, that key components you need to have.
I think the number one component is having a passion. You don't want to just start a business because it's going to make you money. You want to get into a business. You want to have a career that you're going to love. You know, there's a lot of people. Even I have friends and you know, of course, just strangers that I know do not like their 9-to-5 jobs.
Right.
You know, and so it takes, and a lot of people just want a steady check. So you have to understand the lifestyle of being an entrepreneur as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's not going to just, you know, a lot of people think, you know, you're just going to start a business and you're going to, everyone's just
I
going
know there's a statistic, and I'm not going to get it right, but a lot of businesses fail in the
The
first
first 5